You've probably heard that SAP is going all in on AI, right? But what does that mean? One of the key pieces of that strategy is a product called SAP AI Core. So what is it? What does it actually do? Well, that's what we're going to break down today. We're going to follow the journey of your code, from just a script on a laptop all the way to a full-blown production system.
All right, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we got to understand the problem. Why is deploying machine learning so hard in the first place? Then we'll see how SAP AI Core steps in as the solution. We'll break down its two big phases, the training part and the serving part. And to wrap it up, we'll peek under the hood and see what open source magic is really powering this thing.
Okay, so first things first. To really get what SAP AI Core is all about, we need to talk about the headache it's designed to cure. And that headache really is just how tricky it is to get machine learning models out into the real world.
Look, if you're a developer, you know that deploying a simple web app can be, well, pretty straightforward. You might run a single command like cf push or something similar, and boom, it's live. Easy peasy. But trying to do that with a machine learning app, oh man, it's a completely different ballgame. It's not a single step, it's a whole journey. You've got this complex life cycle with all these different stages. You have to train the model, then you have to serve it, you have to monitor it. It's a lot.
And that complex journey is exactly where SAP AI Core comes in. Think of it as the expert guide for your code. It's built to handle all that messy, complicated stuff and shepherd your model safely all the way to production. So let's be super clear on what it is. It's a service that runs on the SAP Business Technology Platform. And here's the key takeaway. It's not a tool to help you write your Python code or build your model. It assumes you've already done that. Its job is to take the brilliant code you've already created and handle the entire operational lifecycle to turn it into a real production-ready system.
Okay, so let's start with the first major hurdle on this journey, the training phase. This is where your code goes from being just an algorithm to being an actual intelligent model that's learned from a ton of data.
And again, just to hammer this point home, AI Core isn't writing your Python script. It's not coming up with the algorithm. You, the data scientist, you've already done that hard work. Its role isn't creative, it's operational. Its job is to provide and manage all the heavy-duty infrastructure you need to actually run that training code effectively. So, how does it do that? Well, it basically orchestrates this really neat four-step process. First, it takes your code and wraps it up in a Docker container, which makes it super portable. Then, it spins up that container on a Kubernetes cluster. And this is key, because training a model can take a ton of computing power, and Kubernetes is perfect for handling those kinds of intense jobs. Next, it connects everything up. It makes sure your code can access the data it needs to learn from. And then finally, once the training is done, it takes the finished model, the artifact, and saves it securely in cloud storage, all ready for the next step. All right, so now we have a trained model. It's just sitting there in cloud storage. That's a huge milestone. But it's not actually doing anything useful yet, right? How do we let other apps talk to it and get predictions? Well, that brings us to phase 2, the serving phase. The whole goal here is to take that static model file and turn it into a living, breathing API that people can actually use. So AI Core orchestrates this too. It takes your serving code, maybe a simple Python Flask app, and runs that in a Kubernetes container. Then it cleverly copies the trained model from storage right into that new container. Your app then loads the model into memory and exposes API endpoints. And just like that, other applications can now send requests and get predictions back in real time.
So you might be thinking, wow, that's a lot of complex orchestration. How does SAP AI Core handle all of that? Does it have some kind of secret proprietary magic? Well, not exactly. It's actually really smart about it. It doesn't reinvent the wheel. Instead, it's built on the shoulders of giants, using some of the best and most popular open source tools out there. Okay, so for handling all the deployment stuff, it relies on a tool called Argo CD. Now, the easiest way to think about Argo CD is to picture it as a super vigilant guard. Its one job is to constantly watch your Git repository, where you define what your setup should look like, and make sure that the live Kubernetes cluster actually looks like that. It keeps them perfectly in sync. And this whole approach, where Git is the one single source of truth, is a massive deal. It gives you some incredible benefits. First off, you get amazing stability. If a new deployment breaks something, no panic. You just revert the commit in Git, and Argo CD automatically rolls your system back to the last known good state. It's that simple. Plus, it gives you amazing governance. Every single change to your production environment has to go through a code review process. It's auditable, it's secure, it's fantastic.
Now for the serving part of the equation, AI Core uses a different, very specialized tool called Kserve.
And there's a really good reason for this. Think about it. The needs for serving are totally different from training. When you're training, you might need a massive machine for a few hours. But when you're serving, you need something that can handle maybe thousands of small requests per second, reliably and efficiently.
And this is where K-Serve absolutely shines. It's built specifically for this high-stakes production environment. It's designed for massive scalability. It supports things like GPU acceleration for super fast predictions, and it can auto-scale up and down to meet demand. But here's the real killer feature, in my opinion. It can scale down to 0. If nobody is using your model, it just shuts down the resources so you're not paying for anything. That is a huge, huge cost saver.
So look, if there's just one thing you remember from all of this, let it be this. SAP AI Core is not a tool for building your machine learning models. Its real magic, its real value, lies in operationalizing them. It solves that incredibly difficult, messy, and absolutely critical last-mile problem. How do you take a brilliant idea that works on a laptop and turn it into a robust, scalable product that can actually make a difference for the business? That is what AI Core is all about.